today. They countered the azan by reciting the Hanuman Chalisa on loudspeakers through the course of the day today. Several MNS workers who were attempting to play this competitive game were detained by the police in different parts of the state. Now, the crackdown on his party workers is selective, says the MNS chief Raj Thackeray, who's been booked for his provocative speech in the Aurangabad rally on Sunday. He, however, remained defiant and questioned the selectivity of the Aghadi government. He's listed how the state was only targeting the Chalisa and the Azan was getting a free run, a charge the Shiv Sena has vehemently countered as well. Let's listen in.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का डिसीजन है, डिसीजन के बाद अगर सरकार नहीं मानती तो क्या करेंगे आगे? और जब निवेदन की भाषा जब नहीं समझ में आती तब आंदोलन की भाषा शुरू हो जाती है और इसके लिए आंदोलन है। ये एक दिन का आंदोलन नहीं है, ये चालू रहेगा जब तक ये आवाजें लाउडस्पीकर बंद नहीं होते, तब तक ये चालू रहेगा।
आज जिस तरह से हमारे मंदिरों के ऊपर से ये आरती लोगों को सुनने नहीं आई, लोग हजारों लोग जमा थे शिरडी के परिसर में या त्र्यंबकेश्वर में, जो ज्योतिर्लिंग है महत्वपूर्ण, तो हमारे लिए हिंदुओं के लिए काला दिन मैं मानता हूँ। इस इतिहास में कभी नहीं हुआ था, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जिस प्रकार की राजनीति राज ठाकरे जी के साथ शुरू की है, उसके लिए हिंदुओं के लिए काला दिन है।
And the fight between the Thackeray cousins took a personal turn as well. Raj Thackeray released an old video of Shiv Sena founder Bal Thackeray, where he's heard warning against the use of loudspeakers at mosques.
ज्या दिवशी माझं सरकार या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये येईल, त्यावेळेला रस्त्यामधले नमाज आम्ही पडल्या बंद केल्याशिवाय राहणार नाही। कारण धर्म असा असावा लागतो की तो राष्ट्र विकासाच्या आड येता कामा नये, लोकांना त्याचा उपद्रव होता कामा नये। आमच्या हिंदू धर्माचा कुठे जर कोणाला उपद्रव होत असेल त्यांनी मला येऊन सांगावं, आम्ही त्याचा बंदोबस्त करायला तयार आहोत। लाऊडस्पीकर मशिदीवरचे खाली येतील, बंद।
The Shiv Sena, however, was not one to let Raj Thackeray have the last word. A few hours later, the Shiv Sena also released a counter video of the same man who Raj Thackeray was using to preach on Hindutva. This was a video that the Sena released to embarrass Raj Thackeray.
स्टाईल वगैरे ठीक आहे हो, विचाराल मत आहे, तर वाचन विचन आहे का तुमचं? मराठी 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 तुमचा जन्म झाला नव्हता त्यावेळेला मी मराठी काढलेली आहे महाराष्ट्रामध्ये। ही साक्ष आहे त्याची, ही साक्ष आहे।
Now, politics aside, there are laws in this country that set a certain benchmark on how many decibels of noise is acceptable, no matter where the loudspeaker is placed. Especially as far as azan goes, there are multiple legal precedents as well that make it clear that azan on a loudspeaker is not intrinsic to the practice of Islam. The state government is certain that mosques have muted this azan across the state. However, we decided to check for ourselves, and this is what we found at Jama Masjid in Aurangabad. All right, we just play out for you the ground report that my colleague Shiv Wani got you in just a few minutes. But this is the legitimate question that we are asking on the NewsHour this evening. Is the Sena bowing to appeasement?
Right now, we're present in Aurangabad's Jama Masjid, and here, as you can see right behind us, the volume, the azan announcement is going on. But here we are available with this decimal checker, and you can see clearly that the minimum of the decimal, the volume can go is still 50 to 55. But of course, through this app particularly, I would like to show you that it is crossing at least the number of 80. It is all above 80 constantly, and see, as the azan goes ahead, it reaches out more than 80 to 85, and hence what we are learning is that the Supreme Court order that was given to follow the decimal for the announcement of azan is not being followed, at least here in Jama Masjid of Aurangabad.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our panelists. Joining us, we have with us Amit Malviya, national spokesperson of the BJP. Altaf Khan is a secretary of the MNS. Ratan Sharda is an author joining us. We also have with us Kuntal Krishna, political analyst. Brijmohan Srivastava, spokesperson chairperson of the NCP, Dr. T.A. Rahmani, is president of the MPCI. But first and foremost, I want to go across to Jayesh Wani, advocate, who is joining us from Mumbai. Jayesh Wani, simple question. Raj Thackeray is asking, why are our workers being detained when those who are violating the law of the land are being let off? What would you say to Raj Thackeray?
Balakrishnan ji, the Shiv Sena will answer the question because they are the more authority to answer Raj Thackeray. But as concern to me and as a lawyer, I am very much clear that no one has allowed to take the law in their hand of this land, because what happened in the PIL number 173 of 2010, where the decision regarding the gramophones or any kind of a microphones or the bhongas are described.
What about implementing the law, sir? What about implementing the law that exists and the legal precedent that exists? Whose responsibility is it for that to be implemented? Because the allegation is that there is a law and that law is being violated on ground. And there are certain episodes, our reporters have gone and checked, there are certain locations where that's actually happening. The decibel levels are being violated.
Balakrishnan ji.
My name is Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, sir. Let me clarify that at the outset so that you don't repeat my name wrong again and again.
Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, yes. Chali, the Krishna is there, so I respect that name also. Okay.
Please answer the question, sir.
There are two questions. One is related with the decibel and another is I'm doing the same thing, sir. It is delay in EP.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
Yeah. So there are two questions in a one question. Yes, two questions. One is related to the decibel. The decibel limit has been already decided by the Honorable Bombay High Court as per the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board Act, jo hai, that as per that act. The other issue related with the politics, it is nothing other than the politics which has been done by the MNS and the other persons. My question is that your question is that who is the if the government is not implement such kind of a things, then what? Then my question is that if government is not implementing, then you have a legal remedy that you go to the concerned court with the contempt petition.
Okay, let's put that question.
To take a law in your hand.
Let's put that question to Altaf Khan. Okay, let's put that question. Altaf Khan, you are taking law into your own hands. Why did not approach the court with a petition is the question coming in from Mr. Jayesh Wani, advocate. Please respond to him.
First and foremost, when on 2nd of April, when Raj Thackeray made an appeal for this noise pollution problem, and he categorically said that it's a social issue and not a religious issue, and it should be taken care and it should not be looked through the prism of religion. So all he requested, and he asked the state machinery, the responsibility of implementing Supreme Court's judgment is the responsibility of the state government. Law and order machinery is the state subject, so they have to take the action. Why should we go to the court when court has given a clear judgment and they have asked to implement certain guidelines? So why the state government is dragging its feet? Why is it scared of implementing the Supreme Court judgment in its letter and spirit? Because they are scared. They are scared because of the appeasement politics and because of the unholy alliance that they have gotten themselves into, which now it has become such a situation, neither they can defend themselves nor they can act on the preachings of Mananiya Bal Thackeray. So they have abandoned Bal Thackeray in totality, and now they are targeting MNS. They are targeting MNS workers and they are arresting them, they've taken them into preventive custody. For what? For asking the state to take action against and to follow the law.
Yeah, but it's very interesting, sir. It's very interesting you mentioned that it's a social issue, because I just want to read out what Mr. Raj Thackeray said, which in fact Aghadi is referring to and Shiv Sena refers to. They says that he said that the Muslim community, this is a social issue affecting the public. It's not just about the Muslim community. Take cognizance of the same. If steps are taken to turn the social issue into a religious one, then we too can give a befitting reply. Now, many are saying that this is an intimidation being given out by Mr. Raj Thackeray, and this is on the basis of which a case has been filed against him as well in Aurangabad. Altaf Khan?
No, he has requested the state police to take action. And they are taking one-sided action. They are arresting our people, but they are not doing anything against the illegal loudspeaker. And Raj Thackeray very clearly said that if there is any violation from mandirs or from any other places of worship or from any other places, you take action. I simply don't understand why they are so scared And by reacting in this manner, they are making it more worse for them. And it has become, they are unable to answer. All they had to do is just follow the Yogi model. Yogi model is very clear that across religion, you speak to people and they are willing to obey by the Supreme Court judgment.
I'll come to the Yogi model point in a few minutes, because there is some questions over there as well that the MNS needs to answer. But let me take this question across to the NCP spokesperson. Brij Srivastav, the law is there, a precedent is there of how it is implemented on ground. Why not just go ahead and follow it is the question that is being asked here.
Madhav Ji, I want to clear this very loudly that our government has implemented each and every instruction of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. You see, this order was passed in 2000.
So the problem is it's not being implemented on ground.
At that time, in India,
the problem is there are certain locations where that order is not being implemented. That is the root cause of the problem.
No.
Over 135 locations, as Mr. Raj Thackeray. At least on one or two locations, our reporters were able to actually see what's happening on ground. So there is a problem of implementation, sir. It's not implemented.
Madhav Ji, they are giving permission in a hurry.
Madhav Ji, will you listen me? Will you listen me?
Go ahead. Floor is yours, Mr. Srivastav. Go ahead.
If you want to listen me, please listen me. Out of 1041 public addressing system, out of that 135 was found making noise not as per the instructions. This is the question. 10% only. So the state government has given instruction to the concerning officers to take proper action against them. What's wrong in it? But 90% places, 95% places are obeying the instruction of the government and they are following it. So what's wrong in it? I am unable to understand.
So, sir, if 10% of the population of a state starts violating the law, tomorrow when you say that 90% is okay, only 10% are doing this.
What kind of argument?
What kind of logic is that, sir?
What kind of argument is that?
No. Listen, Madhav Ji. No. Your argument is not proper. When out of the 90, 10% is not following, action will be taken against them.
Where is the action being taken? Where is the action? What is the action? Please tell us.
Giving this instruction to the police.
Let me bring in Amit Malviya. Amit Malviya, only 10%. Only 10% are violating the rule and therefore action is being taken. Only 10%. But what is that action? We still don't know.
You know, Madhav, I don't know what this debate is all about, because there is a law in this country. There is a judgment by the Supreme Court which clearly says that the loudspeakers on mosques and other religious institutions have to be taken down if they are illegal. It has also stipulated a certain decibel level under which the noise should be maintained. For all these years, the Muslim mosques have violated it with impunity, and governments, particularly those which claim to be secular and appease the minority, have looked the other way. The Aghadi is a classic case of that. The Shiv Sena obviously has compulsions because it cannot survive if the NCP and Congress pull their support out.
You are not seeing the
NCP
UP
and
government then?
are known to appease the Muslims.
Why you are not?
Can I please finish?
Why you are not seeing the other states? This order was passed in 2005. At that time, Adani Modi ji was the Chief Minister of the Gujarat. Why he has not taken action?
Mr. Srivastav, actually the example of UP was cited just now by one of the other panelists in a different context than you are saying right now. But let him make his point.
Why you are quoting UP only?
You can rebut him.
Quote other states also.
Madhav.
Yes.
Madhav.
Yes. 1 second. Please hold on. We can't have everyone speaking. Let Amit finish his point. Amit Malviya.
Madhav. And it's not just in India. Even in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, there are strict guidelines which regulate the kind of loudspeakers that can be put, the timing of the azan and the decibel level. So if an out-and-out Islamic country that is seen as the cradle of Islam can have such progressive guidelines, why should a party like the Shiv Sena behave more Islamic or more Maulana than UAE and the Saudi, for example? Coming to India itself, in the state of Uttar Pradesh, several thousand loudspeakers have been taken down and their decibel levels brought under the permissible limit, and there has been no violation whatsoever. Everybody has adhered to it. So it is quite possible unless, of course, the political leadership of that state wants to appease to the minorities, which is what the Aghadi is doing right now. And it's quite ironic that the party founded by Bala Sahib Thackeray is scared of Hanuman Chalisa and is actually encouraging Azan. It is treating its own citizens differentially.
Okay.
Madhav Ji, 5 साल से योगी जी क्या कर रहे थे?
I can't have both of you at the same time. Once again, Mr. Srivastava,
Raj Thackeray साहब की आवाज
one
सुनाई थी
second.
तो ही उनको याद आया.
Once again, Mr. Pradhan Srivastava, what he is saying is that it has happened not just in mosques but also in temples in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And I think that's all on public record. So why can't that be done in the state of Maharashtra? I think it's a fair question when even Islamic countries like UAE and Saudi have implemented it. Please respond to that, Mr. Srivastava.
Listen, Madhav Ji, listen. Madhav Ji, listen. Madhav Ji, listen. A survey was conducted in all over the Maharashtra, and the state government found 3,000 cases only where the order was not implemented properly. Out of that, 1,766 in the masjid, 1,029 in the mandir, 84 church, and 32 the Gurudwara, and 39 in the Bodh Bihar. The concerning officers has given instruction to the masjid committee or the mandir committee or the Bodh committee to follow the instruction of the Honorable Supreme Court. If you will not follow those orders, your loudspeakers will be removed from the place. So people are complying. When people have complied with the orders and instruction of the state government, so there is no reason to remove them. And the Supreme Court order has not saying that you should remove the speakers. And Mr. Raj Thackeray has also spoken today in the press conference. He is saying that you please keep those loudspeakers noise as per the instruction of the Supreme Court.
Yes, but he has specifically said that those 10%
he has also not saying the remove. But Yogi ji was hammering against the Raj Thackeray.
Sir, he has said it will continue. The protest will continue until the 10% also remains.
अच्छी बात है. We welcome. हम
और
सर इसमें बुरा क्या है? अगर राज ठाकरे साहब चाहते हैं कि देश में कानून की व्यवस्था रहे तो बुराई क्या है इसमें? लेकिन उनको खाली महाराष्ट्र नहीं देखना चाहिए ना, उनको बाकी के भी तो राज्य देखना चाहिए जहां पर बीजेपी की 18 स्टेट से इस समय 18 में से एक स्टेट पे खाली चुनाव किया है, बाकी के 17 स्टेट राज साहब को नहीं.
Okay, let me bring in Ratan Sharda. Let me bring in Ratan Sharda on that note. Ratan Sharda, I find it very interesting that Mr. Srivastava repeatedly refers to only 10% violations. 90% are complying. So 10% is fine. That is an acceptable number. Is it acceptable to you?
Actually, these numbers are not doctored. I don't believe these numbers at all. Any person who lives in Mumbai wakes up to the azan call every day, even when the mosque is across the other hill and not even in the same locality. So don't please tell me about decibel levels and all. And if you have to implement the law, please implement across the board. You had Govinda rule coming to the court for the health of the people who celebrated Govinda. You had noise pollution level and smoke pollution level for the Diwali. You had water problem with Holi. So every problem has to be resolved by Hindus. Every climate issue has to be resolved by Hindus. If that is the way you want the people to be done, okay, welcome. This is what the secularism means for me. And as far as the rules are concerned, Yogi has shown the way. You say law and order is your own issue. You say your government is the best in the world and you have the best chief minister. Then please implement the law for the citizens of the people. Why worry about other states? They will follow suit. They follow good model. They follow. If you like it, follow it. What do you have, Baba? 2005 onwards, what do you have? Your government is the only government which passed a law that you cannot pass by a mosque. अरे यार जरा चुप करिए, आप बोल दीजिए मुझे. घबरा क्यों रहे आप? 100 मीटर के अंदर कोई गुजर नहीं सकता मॉस्क के आसपास. ये औरंगजेब के बाद आपने लगाया है ये रूल कि 100 मीटर के आसपास मस्जिद से आप निकल नहीं सकते. बाजा बगाजा के साथ ये रूल आपने लगाया. औरंगजेब का खत्म हो गया. आपने मंदिरों के लिए नहीं लगाया. आपने 75 साल आपने कभी हिंदुओं के मंदिर के बारे में चिंता नहीं की. प्लीज डोंट गिव ऑल दिस यार. Yours is one-sided secularism. Yours is one-sided placating. Educated Islam को जवाब दे रहे हैं. अनपढ़ को आप उल्लू बना सकते हैं. आप पढ़े लिखे को मत बनाइए उल्लू. आप जो कर रहे हैं सिलेक्टिवनेस, इसके ऊपर ध्यान दीजिए. हनुमान चालीसा में सेडिशन चार्ज लगता है. हनुमान चालीसा में सेडिशन चार्ज लगता है. अरे भैया हनुमान चालीसा बोलने वाले को सेडिशन चार्ज लगता है. उसको आप जेल में डालते हैं. लेकिन आपको
बिल्कुल नहीं. गलत बात है. गलत बात है. किसी को हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ने पर सेडिशन नहीं लगा.
सेडिशन लगा था कि नहीं लगा था?
नवनीत राणा ने
बहन नवनीत राणा ने चीफ मिनिस्टर के आसपास गई भी नहीं थी.
बहन नवनीत
राणा ने चीफ मिनिस्टर के पास गई भी नहीं थी.
उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
घर से निकली भी नहीं की। आप नवीन सभा पे मत जाइए। आप बताइए, आप नॉइज पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल करना चाहते कि नहीं? कि आप कहते हैं कानून तोड़ेगा तो अगर माइनॉरिटी होगी तो हम चुपचाप नोटिस भेजेंगे, मेजॉरिटी होगी जेल में डालेंगे।
All right. Let me just come in over here. We have several other panelists who are still waiting very patiently. Let me take a question across to Rahmani that was raised by Amit Babla just a short while ago. Mr. Rahmani, simple question is this: that if this has happened in other countries globally, if other Islamic countries have actually implemented this rule as far as loudspeakers are concerned, what prevents it from being implemented here? At the end of the day, this is the law of the land. This is what the Supreme Court has said, not now, but several years ago.
World over, nobody have got this problem of blaring of loudspeakers.
Madhav, this is a question to be asked by the successive governments of this country, central government and the state governments, not from me, because the Supreme Court verdict is there since 2005 itself, not a new one, 17 years old, number one. Number two, this is, to me, this is highly a non-issue, as this is a standing Supreme Court verdict and nobody is against it. Give me one single name from some Muslim leader or some Muslim organization who is opposed for its implementation. One single, you cannot. So this is a non-issue. The man say they are claiming that this is a social issue, but this social issue is being promoted religiously to eke out the political dividends. So for the sake of political, ये अपना जरा background music बंद कीजिए. This or whatever the Amit Malviya ji has said, that Muslims are getting the impunity. I take it highly objectionable. It's not about the Muslims or Hindu. There are so many religious places in the country. Each and every religious place was violating this Supreme Court guidelines since 17 years alone. All mandirs, church, gurdwara, masjid. How can you say that it's only the Muslims is getting an impunity? And that now what Ratan Sharda is standing here to your viewers, that Yogi ji has shown the way. Then why the other 16 chief ministers belonging to the BJP is not looking and watching that way which has been shown by Yogi ji? Why don't you talk about the central government? BJP is here at the center for 8 years and for so many several years in 17 states. Why you did not? Just because in Bombay you don't have any political space, you want to take some political space, throw the Manse, you want to get it from
Mr.
the
Rahmani, there are two problems with the argument.
It's highly shameful for me as a Muslim that Hanuman Chalisa.
Mr. Rahmani, there are two problems. One second, let me come in here. Let me give you two counter questions to what you just said. Two problems, sir. Please listen to me now, Mr. Rahmani. You've had your say. You've had your say. Now listen to me. Two problems with that line of argument, sir. Two problems. One is that when there is law, why do citizens have to wait for governments to enforce it? Why can citizens themselves not come out and say that here this is a law, let me implement it and let me ensure that I am a law-abiding citizen? Point number one. Point number two, the fact is when you say that nobody is objecting to it, Mr. Rahmani, hear me out and listen to my question. You may not like it, but listen to my question. You can answer whatever you want after that. The problem is that on ground today, even now, despite all of these protests, the fact is that the law is still being violated. So how do you explain that then, sir? When you say that nobody is against it, what about those people who are violating it?
There are a few people. You may take action against them. You can arrest them. You can push a sedition charge. We have no objection. If only 135 mosques, as the number they are quoting, the Bombay people, if it is only such a small number of people, you can arrest them tomorrow itself. We have no objection. So why there is any issue?
Okay, arrest them tomorrow. Arrest them tomorrow. We don't have any objection. Amit Madhya, he referred to the BJP there and also why this BJP does not implement this particular law in other 16 states. Why only UP? Your response.
Look, Madhav, when we discuss UP or any other state, I will answer these questions. Right now we are discussing Maharashtra and we should stick to Maharashtra because this whole whataboutery is a simple way of deflecting a hotspot that you are in. I want to ask a very simple question. The Home Ministry in Maharashtra is with the NCP.
Yeah, let him speak. Okay, I will make your point. Yes.
In Maharashtra is with the NCP. The NCP wants to build a coalition of Marathas and Muslims. And that is why Mr. Pawar's party is making all these concessions to the Muslims. They want to wean away the Muslim vote bank of the Congress also. Therefore, you see the kind of appeasement, the brazen appeasement in Maharashtra. However, the question must be asked of Shiv Sena, which is desperate to stay in power, and it has to do business with people who have made it drift from the original ideology of Bal Thackeray. That is the big question that Shiv Senics should ask Uddhav Thackeray.
Okay. I'm going to take that question across to Jayesh Wani in just a bit, but I first want to bring in Kuntal Krishna. Kuntal Krishna, it's nothing but politics and politics of pragmatism or vote bank politics or appeasement, whatever one chooses to call it, that is forcing the Aghadi to do this. That's the allegation coming in from the BJP. Please respond to him. Mr. Krishna.
Madhav, this is not Aghadi or any political party which is there responsible to maintain law and order. It is the Maharashtra government. And what Maharashtra government did, they should be given kudos for this. There was a lumpen, in fact a henchman of BJP and RSS, who wanted to destabilize law and order situation and secular threat in the state. So it is the foremost responsibility of the state to do anything to maintain law and order situation and communal harmony in the state. So what state did, we must give kudos to them. Then, next thing, it was not a political leader's statement, or it was not a political leader's call what Raj Thackeray did. It was a call by a henchman of BJP and RSS who has been redundant in the politics of Maharashtra, and he is doing all these things to help BJP and RSS to polarize votes on communal lines.
I strongly object to that.
Mr. Krishna, I'm going to begin the RSS now, but I have a simple question. Is it not the job of the government to implement the law then?
Very simple. Object to that.
One second, Mr. Krishna. Mr. Krishna, I will get a response from the MNS. One second. The questions that you have raised at the MNS, I will ask of them. But Mr. Krishna, can you listen to my question, please? I have a simple question to you. Is it not the job of a government? You just now said it's not about the Aghadi, it's about the state government. To the best of my knowledge, it is the Aghadi that is running the state government. If you have some other knowledge, I don't know. But is it not the job of that state government to implement the law of the land, what the Supreme Court has said, sir?
Madhav, it is also the responsibility of the government to maintain law and order and secular credentials in the state. Second thing, this law has been in place. Why should the two be in conflict with each other? Madhav, this law has been in place for 2005. What was Mr. Raj Thackeray and BJP doing? Mr. Raj Thackeray was having 13 MLAs in 2009. Why did not he raise this issue?
I will tell you what he was doing.
This is the timing. He is raising these issues.
This issue was first raised by
Altaf Khan, respond.
This issue was first raised by Bal Thackeray several years ago. So he's trying to say that Bal Thackeray was a henchman of RSS and BJP. Is it what he's trying to imply? That Bal Thackeray was a henchman? Today this question is very, very important in Maharashtra, is because by keeping 108 MLAs on the side, Shiv Sena government, Mahavikas led by Shiv Sena, today came into power by saying that we want Shiv Sena Chief Minister, we want the Bhagwa to be on the Mantralaya. So that is the reason they came to power. And the moment they came to power, they were so engrossed by the power, and they loved power so much that they forgot what Bal Thackeray thought, and all his teachings and all his ideals. They all forgot everything.
Madhav, can I respond?
Today, for the power, they are willing to do anything, and they are calling Bal Thackeray's own agenda as the as a hired agenda from BJP and Shiv Sena. So I totally don't understand what they have to say. They have totally lost the morality.
Bal Thackeray is wrong, Mr. Kuntal Krishna. That's the substance of your argument.
From Bal Thackeray's ideals. They have totally disassociated themselves.
See. Raj Thackeray does not have anything to do with Bal Thackeray. Uddhav, this is again a big point. Uddhav Thackeray has taken over senior Thackeray's legacy, and Raj does not have to do anything with that legacy.
Well, it's a battle for that legacy. Anybody can claim. Anybody can take claim for any legacy, sir. Nobody has a copyright on anyone's legacy. Let me bring in. Okay, let me bring in Jayesh Wani. Jayesh Wani. One second. There's a political fight on for that legacy. Is all I'm saying. Let me bring in Jayesh Wani. Jayesh Wani was Mr. Bal Thackeray wrong in what he said in that video? You saw the video war today. Was Mr. Balasaheb Thackeray wrong in saying what he said, in your view?
Number one, it is Balasaheb Thackeray. We respect him, and I hope you also respect, because he is no more in the world.
Insulting him,
so
we are saying, was
we
he
respect
wrong?
any person who is not in the world right now. Please. You said. See, I am requesting you also. I am not fighting with you, please. Number one. Number two, it is the selective video clip which has been shown by the Raj Thackeray as per his convenience. The one thing is very clear, that Balasaheb Thackeray has already told in his many speeches that I doesn't want it to be a Khomeini of Hindus. What does it mean, Madhav G? It means that he doesn't want it to create an extremist Hindus, right? To fight for own rights is a different thing, but to be an extremist and to behave like this.
Was his statement on namaz correct or not? That is a simple question, and you're going around in circles. Was he right? Yes. If not, no. Please answer in a simple yes or no.
Okay.
Do you agree with what he said or not?
What I may have to answer? You tell me what I should have to answer.
Sir, a simple question. You saw the video, the statement he made vis-a-vis namaz. Do you agree with that or not?
I have given my answer.
So you agree with him? You agree with what Mr. Bal Thackeray said?
I have given my answer.
One thing is very clear in our country.
No, you agree with the video that was put out today. You said that it is a small portion of a video. Do you agree with that or not? Simple question, sir. Why is it so difficult to answer yes or no?
Why not we agree? If any illegal mob is coming on the roads, why not the law of land can be survive?
Yes, so the question today is, when somebody is actually coming out and fighting for that, why is the Shiv Sena now opposed to it? That is the question, sir. That is the question today. When someone is saying that we are going to implement this...
Shiv Sena spokesperson, na? Why to me? Ask to Shiv Sena spokesperson.
I just want to know your opinion.
I am not a Shiv Sena spokesperson.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm only asking you a simple question. Do you agree or disagree?
To you that the selective clippings has been taken and it's shown, it is not good.
Okay, selective clippings. Selective clippings have been taken. Altaf Khan, you are selectively quoting Balasaheb Thackeray.
It is selective clippings, no?
It is not selective. His stand was very well known to Maharashtra and to the entire nation. It is not selective clipping. What Balasaheb Thackeray said time and again is very well known to Maharashtra.
Altaf, sir, Marathi बोलू यार. Altaf, तुला मराठी पण येत नसेल की असं नका बोलू.
तुमच्यापेक्षा जास्त चांगलं मराठी मी बोलू शकतो.
हा मग बाळासाहेब मला माहित नाही, तुम्हाला माहिती आहे. बाळासाहेब तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, मला माहित नाहीये.
साहेब तुमच्यापेक्षा जास्त चांगलं मराठी मी बोलू शकतो.
निदानाची मराठी शिकून घ्या.
मी बोलू शकतो.
We cannot translate live. I unfortunately cannot understand Marathi, but I want to get a quick closing comment because you're almost out of time. Amit Palvia, you know, there are just 2 points here. Either those who are claiming to be the legatees of Balasaheb Thackeray, you know, agree with what was said in that video put out by Raj Thackeray. Of course, there was a counter video also put out by the Shiv Sena, which, you know, had Balasaheb Thackeray say a few unkind things about Raj Thackeray. But the question is that if this is what the party has stood for over the decades, why is it a problem now implementing it on ground?
Look, let's be clear that Raj Thackeray is the ideological inheritor of Balasaheb Thackeray. He may not have inherited the organization, but ideologically he has maintained the worldview that Balasaheb Thackeray had. And I don't need the Shiv Sena spokesperson to tell us what Balasaheb Thackeray stood for, because it is quite widely known what he stood for. If Balasaheb Thackeray was around, he would not have got into an alliance with the NCP and the Congress. The kind of things that he said about Sonia Gandhi is there for
now
everyone to see. It's on record. What he thought of NCP is for everybody to know. But of course, Uddhav Thackeray has chosen to do business with the parties that are complete antithesis to what the Shiv Sena stands for. And that is where the problem is, and that is why this government is the government of convenience and compulsion.
All right. On that note, we are completely out of time on this debate. It's been a very, very heated one, and I think in coming days in Maharashtra is going to continue to remain a very, very heated issue. We'll have to see how this issue develops over the coming days. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us this evening. Amit Palvia, Altaf Khan, Ratan Sharda, Kuntal Krishna, Braj Mohan Srivastava, Dr. T. A. Ramani and Jayesh Wani for joining us this evening.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back.